When I gave to Pastor Chris, I had never given $1 million anywhere to say this is $1 million US I've given to someone. Even if you calculate all the years, it was never getting to 1 million. I remember after giving a certain level, I went to my house. And as I slept there, I saw heaven open. And I see the Lord Jesus on the podium like this, just a podium like this. And he would call generals, and there was an angel who would be handed a paper, and the angel would shout, Oyedepo. And I saw Bishop Oyedepo go to this, and he said, what is the number of your buildings that you have given to the Lord and for the Lord's service? He would read, and would be waiting there. And I was just like, wow. And then Adeboye, then these great men of God are coming. And then there would be some people who would be called as well to say something in, they would say, Oyedebo. Another person would come and is asked the same question. Then Pastor Chris is called. Said, give us an inventory. Give us what you have done for the work I've sent you. And he would come and say, okay, we have these buildings, we have these buildings, we have this building. I was just there going like, wow. Pastor Chris, these generals have done a lot of work that people don't know. The numbers of things that they were talking about, the amounts that they had used in billions, and I was like, nah. And I was there, I was supposed to be called. Not one kobo, not one building, not a cent. Maybe I was on minus. I got called after Pastor Chris. How many buildings? I said 0. How much is in the account? I said it's minus something. And I looked at the Lord and he was so angry with me. Like you're talking about the loving Jesus, angry, where you see lightning shots in his eyes. I said, what? I don't think I'm coming out of this vision. I'm dead. But the people don't give. When you are giving reasons like, how can I be asked this question? God knows already. I'm not like these people. These people have started way back, and then they are calling me among these people. Forget what visions you were told, you were what in prophecy, what your pedigrees in the prophetic. There, when you are now being asked by God, you realize your position. I sat down. There was another second row. They were asked again. Now it was going into areas, categories of what they earned and what they had. And Bishop Oyedebo comes. The general Adeboye comes. And some are coming in the middle. See, boom, another general. Pastor Chris came back again. Asked the same thing. I came back, asked how much this is. I said 0. Okay, how many members? Oh, millions. This one says millions. This one says Pastor Chris comes, millions. I come in, I don't know how many we were at that time, maybe 150. But when a preacher says 150, you'll be around 50. Yes. As you know, African pastors, they say African pastors can't count. If you hear an African pastor saying we are 200, they are 30. So I'm in there. The last row was done. And it was told, now you can go, now you can go. Now Pastor Chris comes in and he's asked another question again in that vision. And he began to elaborate, this is it, this is what we have done, this is what we've done, these are the numbers we have. And I came back here. I said, these are the numbers we have. And this, and the Lord looked at me and moved to the front and grabbed the paper of where Pastor Chris was reading his from, and grabbed it and put it on the podium. I said, read what Chris said. Whatever I asked you, give the answers Chris gave. So, how many members? Millions. I saw in a vision, pure vision, not some envisioning, no, real vision, where God puts you in a close, in the cave of Adullam. You are sitting there and you see pictures. And God said, I started calling all the numbers. Pastor Chris was told, you don't go. Repeat. How many buildings? He said, I came back, I said, I have buildings. Same number, sir. Same number. Why he said 20,000? I said 20,000. Why he said 50 million? I said 50 million. And the Lord was smiling. He said, whatever he says, repeat it. That's what you have. Do you have a building? It's called Hippodrome. Full.
Come on. Yes, sir.
Do you have cars? Yes. If you don't have any of yours, see the ones I drive, just mention it, that's yours. Yeah, Range Rover, Mercedes, Ferrari, just mention whatever. Where is it? I parked it at the Hippodrome. Your problem is you don't have a fatherhood relationship, and you don't sow into the unction. If you sow into the unction, whatever I drive, even though I did not use your money, but my money was spared because I could use yours somewhere. No, they didn't get it. They didn't get it. Don't let a pastor tell you that I'm just using my money, yours is not involved. If yours is not involved, he would have used his money to a certain higher degree to cover the bills that yours then covered. So, I never do anything. Right now, before we do any raising of any finances, I'm using my personal finances, my wife's personal finances, my family's personal finances to finance some projects that come in between. And when we get towards Missions Week, now I know you've raised your money for that building I was taking care of. Now you take care. I can do this now. I'm not free. But you're sitting there. There's nothing you have decided. Men of God, young men of God are the perpetrators of this. That all they want is free. Just lay hands on and I'm going. How come you have very few people that have made it in ministry? I did a calculation here. And I said even if we give it a try and give it more than it's worth, we can have at least 3 billion Christians. And only 30 popular Christians. 30 popular men of God and women of God. That's it. I know you think there's so many. They're not. Trust me. If you look at the people you think are huge, there are people that can leave Zimbabwe, preach in England to other Zimbabweans. Never a coat of many colors. Because they can't go beyond Because they have not chosen to submit. They have not found a mentor. They have not craved what he has. They have not listened to the words. They have not found a career. They have not sown into the career. They have not engaged in a soul tie with the career. And they have not sought fatherhood with the career. Find a career. Crave for what he has. Crave for it. Engage with the words of your career. So seek a tall side. You see, a soul tie with your career. Seek a fatherhood with a career. Then seek to sow and pour into that career's life. One time I used to say, I have only 3,000, I have 20,000, I have 5,000, I can't send Pastor Chris. No, I can't send it. It's too little. Too little for who? That's what you have. That's exactly what you have. Don't live beyond what you are able. This is exactly what you have. I saw in a vision, pure vision, not some envisioning, no, real vision, where God puts you in a close, in the cave of Adullam. You are sitting there and you see pictures. And I looked at the Lord and he was so angry with me. Like you're talking about the loving Jesus, angry, where you see lightning shots in his eyes. I said, what? I don't think I'm coming out of this vision. I'm dead. And the Lord looked at me and moved to the front and grabbed the paper of where Pastor Chris was reading his from and grabbed it and put it on the podium and said, read what Chris said. Whatever I asked you, give the answers Chris gave.
So beloved, I believe we heard what Pastor Uebert Angel has to say concerning givings and concerning the workings that these great pastors across Nigeria and across Africa as a continent are actually doing. This particular video tells us a lot, but I know a lot of people may take it towards a different dimension, or probably their understanding may be a bit different. But honestly, if you pay serious attention to what Prophet Uebert Angel is actually saying in this video, it's nothing but the truth. See, sometimes when we do things for people, or sometimes when we give in the house of the Lord, we think that our miracle should manifest immediately. But sometimes you don't know that your reward is in heaven. You see, I give in churches not because I'm compelled by a pastor to do so, because I know that I'm contributing into the house of God. Maybe one or two things that you think that your money does not get done in churches, it does. You get sometimes your money, they use it to buy something for the less privileged, for the poor, for the orphanage. Sometimes they use your money to even create roads that lead to churches. Yes, I know that a lot of African pastors own a lot of properties to their name, and a lot of us are so naive in a way that we start thinking, where are they getting this money from? If it is not from the seed that individuals sowed in the church, if it's not from the offering and tithe. Some of those people have multi-million naira, be multi-billion dollars company investment. There are some property that they own to their name that you don't know. You get, there are things they do in secret to help the less privileged, the orphans, the poor, but you and I do not know. But we are quick to put them on the chopping stick, to chop them off and say that, oh, this pastor man, you know too much. See how many private jets in the buy. Just when they are going for the workings of the Lord outside this continent, or within this continent, or outside Nigeria, or within Nigeria, they need these things to be able to fasten their movement, no, or their safety, you get. So but when we don't understand, there's Some people will always say that I don't want to be a cheerful receiver, but I want to be a cheerful giver. Because when you give, you don't know how your blessings multiply, and you that you're waiting to receive all the time, you don't know what you are missing at. God keep on opening portals, God keep on opening doors that are meant to be shut on you, but because of the way you give. I'm not talking about those people that used to do eye service in church. I'm not talking about those people that will want to give to show that they have given in church. No, that one is just common flag. That is what the Bible tells us, that is vanity upon vanity. You're just showing up. You're not giving from your heart. You're giving to impress people, or you're giving to choke people, or you are giving to make yourself feel good. You get, that is not giving. Some people even give in secret. Some people just drop it at the altar of God without their name being mentioned. But God is the one that keeps record of these things, you get. So if you have something to do for the house of God, or for the less privileged, for the orphans, if you have things that you want to do to dedicate it to God, you can go ahead and do it. That is what this video is teaching us, and that is what Pastor Uebert Angel is actually explaining to us in this particular video. And honestly, it's an interesting one, it's an eye-opening one for that matter, and I hope that we actually learn a lot from it, because he says that there was some kind of sacrifice or kind of offering he gave, and he was in his house in a trance, and the Lord started to show him. He said he sees the Lord Jesus Christ on a pulpit and with a list and angels. Then they call Pastor Oyedepo, David, like all men of God, Pastor Chris, and then him, and he has nothing. It was even written minus. You get, it may sound funny, but it is not funny. These are things we need to pay attention to. But our word today have actually blind us. Our word today have actually corrupt us in a way that we feel like, oh, these men of God, they are bad. Oh, these men of God, all they think about is money. Oh, this, see, they are doing the most. Some people do things in secret. Some people are good when they do things without letting people know. Some people, their money, the things they do, it makes a lot of noise in society, communities, and even in the nation and the world at large, but you won't know that it's come from them. I remember when Christ Embassy released their own phone, and I was like, yeah, Omo. And there was a time Pastor Chris made a video, and he said, if I should tell you the property I have, you will not even. So it make me to wonder that there are some things that you don't even know that belongs to these people. You get, you are just doing your shapra pra pra. You are the first then to crucify them. You are the first to do this when you hear they have raised how many $billion for God, for the workings of God. Some people say, where are you people raising this money? We don't used to see it. The poor are not getting it. The offering that people are paying, some of them will say, this is your 10 naira offering. What will you do? We are talking of oil money. We are talking of old money. We are talking of money that we have invested in stocks that are yielding result right now. That is the money we are talking about. Some people say, no, it's my offering that is part in building that church, especially when members decide to leave a church. You need to hear how they bash these men of God. We built this church. Some people say they will even take the church to court. You get, their money has been inside the building, this one, and I'm like, God, when you were doing it, were you doing it to come back tomorrow to fight the church, or you were doing it from your heart, or because probably maybe your family had a misunderstanding with the pastor, or the church is not treating you the way you expected the church to treat you anymore because they have a lot of members and their hands are full, their legs are full, they couldn't do the things they were doing, the way they praises you, you don't feel that glory anymore, and you decide to say, okay, you don't like the church, you want to leave the church. So it's kind of crazy. I have been in a bus and we were moving from one location to another, and I was able to listen to a particular women, like their conversation, and they have a lot to say because one has left the church and the other one is about to leave the church. That pastor is bad, he like to womanize, he do this, the kind of money me and my husband have given in that church. Like the way she was saying it, I'm like, Omo, this life no balance. So people where you see say they got your back, your G. Now that people now then be the first to light the lighter when they pour you fuel for body. You get, so let's be careful when we run our mouth, and let's be careful when we give in the house of God. You're not compared to do so. I always tell people that when you are compared to give an offering or to give a sacrifice in church, see, forget it. You know they do anything, you just dey burn that paper. You get, you're not getting anything in return. When you're forced or you are giving just to show off, just know that that your money person go just chop and shit and come out. You get, but if you're giving from your heart, you're giving from your soul, see, you don't even need person to tell you. The moment you drop that seed, that offering, you know that the heavens have opened for you and your blessings have been poured upon you immediately. But when you give and you're expecting something in return, I always tell people that when we are having a situation, problem, that is when we know to call on God. That is when we know to fast and pray. Yes, God answers, but sometimes you need to know that God is not biased. You need to know that God is not naive like us. God is the beings of all beings, you get. So you cannot come and play mind games or trick games with him. When you have problem, you know how to pray, you know how to be close to God. When that problem is solved, then boom, now relationship, far distance, now what they do now. So let's be careful. Okay, honestly, I really enjoyed this particular message, eye-opening teaching, and I decided to share it with us. Let's give from our hearts, and whatever we are giving, and you think that you're just doing it, no, you're not doing it. The record is there. One day you're gonna get your reward, and when that reward comes, you yourself, you'll be shocked. So, beloved brothers and sisters, that is what I say. Let me come here and chit chat with you guys, and please help me share this video across all social media platforms like Facebook, WhatsApp, TikTok, Instagram, on X, to make sure that a lot of individuals get hold of this video, for them to be aware of what God is saying, so that they do more. You need to give God, you need to build a house and dedicate it to God and say, God, this one is yours. I give this to you. I see people build churches, I see people build hospitals, and then they dedicate it to the church that is for the Lord. You get, they are not taking shishi cover from that particular thing when it start yielding result, or when it start bringing return, just to support the works of God, just to make sure that the ministry like things are flexible, just to make sure that the pastors was able to move from one location to another to help the poor, just to make sure that that hospital door is open for the less privileged. You know, there are some hospital that you go, you'll be after treatment, you hear that, oh, your bills have been paid by so and so person. Then you yourself, you'll be like, sometimes they collect money because they need to run that hospital. You get some chickeny money, then they charge you like normal hospital. That is why when you go to church hospitals, they are way cheaper than your government hospital, than your private hospital are there, because people are building this building, dedicating this facility to God, so that life could be easier for you and I. So it's not everything we see out there that will criticize, or we are quick to judge. So that is just what I want to share, and I will see you in the next one shortly. Bye.